Hey, how's everyone doing? Welcome. Doing well. Just got off the field, so if under the lights if I'm glowing, it was a little bit hot out there. But thanks for coming, guys. Yeah, so happy to take any questions that you guys have.
Coach, I'll start. Obviously, this is the post Luca Dorado, Anderson Rosa. It was kind of weird to see the roster, not them listed there. What's that been like for you, having those two leaders not be around, but now you have other guys to step in those roles?
Yeah, I think this is like the natural evolution that you see in college sports. I think it's one of the reasons that college sports is such a breeding ground to develop young people, right? And so, obviously, Anderson and Luca were so important in our program, but when they arrived, they were young players and young men and needed to develop into leaders and into better people, better players. And I think what we see is the same thing happening within our team now. And there are other people who now are stepping into that role and are doing it at a really high level. Some of them, the reason they're in the room today is because Wanvi, Drew, and Gwen are three guys that have done an incredible job already. And that process has been ongoing from the time that they got here as young people and, were exposed to the culture, started to really both integrate and then add to the culture. And now they're the ones driving the culture. So we've had, and the great thing is it's not just them. They have a whole group of people behind them who support them, who are driving the culture. And so obviously it's exciting when we see Luca and Anderson come here and then move on to the next phase of their lives and have success. Like that is so meaningful to us and meaningful to their teammates, and then it gives this opportunity for others.
Scotty's injury last year, Luca led the team in goals. At first, we've done what you've done with Cal Jennings, and then what you did with Lucas. So what does the future look like now in terms of goal scoring for you guys? How do you go about that?
Yeah, I think it's exciting because I think with changes in how college sports are resourced, right? You see an ability from us as a program to attract really high-level players. And so I think we've got multiple players within our team that can score goals and that can create chances. I think our attack this year, there'll be some familiar faces. Drew is in the room, right? And Drew's been with us for a few years, is a goal scorer, had one the other night, and really smart, times his runs well, dangerous in the box. And then we have other players as well. And I think we have different profiles. So whereas I think Luca was a certain profile of player where he stayed on the last line, was more around the top of the box, I think we have players that are maybe a little bit more in behind players. And then I think we can also make some changes, and then you have maybe more of a target nine. So a player you'd play into, players can get around him, he attracts the back line for your opponent, and then now there's space in behind. And I think we have in Claudel a player who plays differently to both the players we have and to Luca. So I think we're going to be dangerous in the final third, but I think it's going to look a little bit different because you have different players with different capabilities and different strengths.
Coach, you talked on developing players. What's it been like to develop players from different countries? I mean, everybody coming together. How does that work with team chemistry, and how can you guys get accustomed to each other?
So the very first thing that I think our group does an incredible job of is they make people feel welcome. So it's really, I'm amazed at some of the guys that come over here. English is not their first language. The culture is so different. Like, to be that brave to say, okay, I'm going to leave this environment that I'm in where I'm really comfortable and I'm going to stretch myself. Like, I have so much respect for that. And I think our players do. And we have a group of players now, older players that have been through it. and they remember, and they talk about, like, when I arrived, this is how I was treated. And the moment I arrived on campus, how I was made to feel by the players that were here, immediately they feel at home. And I think that is really special. And it's something that's our guys do an incredible job of. And then once you feel at home and you feel like you belong, you're willing to do so much for your teammates. And I think we have a really strong bond that this group has developed over the summer. Exactly what you're talking about, which is how do you bring people together? Well, you spend a lot of time with each other, you get to know each other, you build really good relationships, and then now you're able to perform at a really high level because you have incredible bonds. So this is a huge strength of ours, and I think it makes us better. When you bring players from different footballing backgrounds as well, right? So not just the cultural differences, but you bring players from different footballing backgrounds and you bring them together and you put them all on the same page. Some of the things that can come from that are exciting and make, I think, the way we play really fun to watch. And I think it's a real strength that we have.
Coach, what would you say is the team's biggest strength heading into the season?
It's still really early, right? I think we're still learning about this group, but I think for this year, it's going to be that we are collectively like one unit, one group, right? And that we're really cohesive in terms of, actually, let me find a better word. We're connected. We're connected because that is off the field in terms of the relationships, and then that's on the field and the relationships that we have on the field. And I think when I look at this group, I honestly think from a parity standpoint, like there are so many good players within our group. And so there's not this huge difference between, there's no number 28 and number 1, right? It's just there's such a high level throughout the group. And I think the strength of that is going to be that we're going to be really connected. We're going to be able to rely on more than 11 players. We're going to need more than 11 players, and I think we're going to have it.
Okay, we'll go right here and then Shane.
Yeah. Coach, just you mentioned bond. That's one thing. Two-part question here. How have you found ways to bond with your team off the pitch in the preseason? And then early on, you mentioned you're kind of looking to see what your team's going to be. Have you found an identity that you can kind of tell us about yet?
So bonding, so it's been happening for the great thing for 6 weeks, right? These guys come in Summer B, and they start that process. The hard part is we're not allowed to be a part of it, really. And so what that void creates is an opportunity for leaders to step in and to make sure that we're headed in the right direction. And the 3 guys in the room that you'll speak to, they were really key to that and did an incredible job. Since we've gotten together, we did a couple things with this group. We did an exercise called Hype Man, and it's really a cool exercise because what happens is you play 28 guys, and they play rock, paper, scissors individually. So you and I would match up against each other, right? You win, and then now I'm your hype man. And so my job is as you go and you challenge somebody else, I build you up, right? And I just give you positive energy. And then when you win again, you get that person to join you and their hype man. And so by the end of it, you've got a whole group, just 2 players facing off to win, and you've got 13 people on each just behind them. And it's, okay, what does that feel like? If you're like receiving this positive energy from your teammates. And I think that's a fun exercise. Gwen, did you win that one? Hype man winner right there. Rock, paper, scissors. He's got a talent for it. And we've created some environments. We played Jeopardy as well. So we had a little team Jeopardy with the staff and the players. So we create these opportunities to get to know each other outside the field. And I think maybe coaching, it used to be like you're going to stay arm's length from me And we're going to have this very professional relationship. And I think it's really artificial that we've created that. And we have the opportunity now. We coach differently. And I think the players respond better to having a more real relationship with coaches and with each other. So that's been key. A lot of it's quite natural, but then sometimes we'll throw in something fun like that.
Coach, you got 10 days of prep before you kick this thing off, a road trip to North Carolina.
Yeah.
2 really solid games, but you get a top 10 in the second. What are the challenges of that opening road trip?
Yeah, I think it's the type of games we want, right? It's the top of college soccer. That's where we want to be. Obviously, the challenge is it's a really good opponent, and you get pushed at the level that you find out a lot about who you are as a team and as a program. And there's no doubt North Carolina, Wake Forest, they're going to expose some things that maybe we're not even clear we need to work on yet. So I think those games are big games that our players really get excited for. So I don't think motivation is ever going to be an issue when it comes to a game like that. They are absolutely dying to play teams at that level, because I think this is a team that is that level and can be that level. So we've got to go there. We've got to be incredibly well prepared. We've done it before. I think it's one of the reasons why we've had some really good years, because we've gone away from home and we've played some of these top teams. 2 years ago, we went and beat Clemson, and that set up a heck of a year where immediately when you realize, when you play the top and you see, okay, we are right there, then you have that understanding, like we can play at this level and we can win at this level and we can do something. So I think it's a really important road trip for us.
Coach, this year marks 50 years for UCF men's soccer, 50 years.
Yeah.
So just what has it meant to you to reach that mark this season? And you guys got the chance to talk to any of the guys about that.
We haven't discussed it as a team. I think it's exciting. I personally just love that I'm a part of trying to elevate UCF men's soccer and being part of that history, right? And I think this group can be a part of that history. I feel real responsibility to the alumni who want us to be great, right? Want to be really proud of us. So, I mean, I think the way that we honor that is to be our absolute best and make that group that's played before us really proud of how we compete and the level we compete at, and try to represent them in the best way possible. So yeah, it's exciting. We want to leave our mark.
Coach, obviously, two seasons ago, you guys had a historic season, ranked #1 in the polls. You know what it takes to get there. What does this team have that could possibly lead you guys to among being the top in the country again?
Yeah, I think two things come to mind from that season. I think this team has a depth to it that will allow us to have the energy to play throughout the season. And I think when I look at that season and the level we reached was really high. And then how do you sustain it? And how do you then have the postseason that you want? You had to get to the postseason, right? And that's hard. That's very difficult. So we need to get there. And then the depth of ability within this team to be able to continue. And then what I do think we had with that team that we will have again with this team, and of course we haven't played a counting game yet, so we're going to be tested. We're going to be tested in a big way. Is I think we're a group that's really connected, and that's going to be key. All right, guys. Thank you very much.